You're welcome to Excellent Simplified Tutorials.
So let's look at this very quickly. Cell structure and functions. And we said if you're defining a cell, there are three things that must be there. We said a cell is what? Basic, or you say fundamental. Basic what? Structural and functional unit of what? Of life, or of an organism. So it's either you use basic or fundamental. When they say something is basic, what does it mean? It's important, right? Something fundamental, something that is a building block. Do you get? So a cell is the smallest unit of life. Yes. So a cell is the basic or fundamental, structural and functional unit of life. Good, that's a cell. Now, there are different types of cell which we are going to go into afterwards. But if we have something like this as our cell, okay, let's use this. Let's assume this is a nucleus. And these are organelles. Organelles are specialized substances, specialized materials in the cell that carry out specific functions. You know, the cell carry out the activities of life. There are specialized structures in this cell that helps to carry out that function. And those are what we call organelles. And some of the organelles are this. The cell membrane, first of all. Now, the cell membrane, now look at this as your cell. The cell membrane is this stuff here, covering the cell. Just look at the cell membrane as a fence around your house that regulates what comes in and out of that compound. That is how the cell membrane is. And among plant cell and animal cell, which one have cell wall? Plant cell have cell wall, right? But animal cells does not. Is it not? Now the cell membrane this is how your cell membrane looks like. This is how it is all around like this. It's a lipid bilayer. A lipid bilayer. And the function of this cell membrane is to regulate what comes in or goes out of the cell. Do you get that? So we said it's selectively permeable because it regulates what comes in and out. Some things can pass through, some things cannot pass. Do you understand that? So the cell membrane regulates what comes in and out of the cell. Is that okay? Good. The next thing there is the cytoplasm. This is the nucleus. This open space here, outside the nucleus, this open space here is the cytoplasm. And it contains a fluid called what? Cytosol. Contains a fluid called the cytosol. In this cytoplasm now, in this open space, that is where other organelles are found. Do you get that? So the cytoplasm is this open space that contains the fluid cytosol, the jelly-like substance we talked about. And in this space here, you have other organelles found here. And there are some metabolic reactions that take place in the cytoplasm. Reactions like glycolytic pathway. Glycolysis takes place in the cytosol. Reactions like fatty acid synthesis. Fatty acid synthesis takes place in the cytosol. Alright, so that's that for the cytoplasm. Any question on that? The next one here is nucleus. If you look at this, the nucleus, sometimes, I don't know if this has happened to you. You'll be walking on the road and they say, are you the son of so person? Are you the daughter of so person? What happened to you? It has happened to me several times. Somebody that has not seen me before will just say, are you the son of this person? I'll say yes. Why? It means I took something from either my mom or my dad that makes me look like them, is it not? Now, that trait, that characteristic is gotten from the genetic material. Now, the nucleus contains our genetic material. And the genetic material here is just condensed as chromatin thread. Now, I will go a little deep here, but when we take it as a topic, we'll go deeper. Now, what you see in your nucleus is just thread-like substance called chromatin thread. During cell division, this chromatin thread will organize itself into what we call what? Chromosomes. Into chromosomes. As a normal human being, how many chromosomes do you have? Speak for yourself. Okay, you have 46. How many do you have? You have 21. Okay, you have 22. She's speaking for herself now. So, how many do you have? You have 42. How many do you have? You have 46. Okay, you're now doubled to 44. Yes. Alright, we have 46 chromosomes. Normal human beings. 46 chromosomes. Do you know why I emphasize on normal human beings? There are some people that can have more than 46. There are some people that can have less than 46. There's a case called Klinefelter syndrome. They can have 47, 48, 49 chromosomes. There's a case called Klinefelter, is a disorder, Klinefelter syndrome. This set of persons, they are usually very tall. It affects only males. Very, very tall. And they have feminine body. They can have 47 chromosomes. They can have 48. They can have 49. They can have 50. Just like that. There is another case we call Turner syndrome. Some persons, this one affects females mostly. And they can have 45 chromosomes. But normal human beings have how many chromosomes? 46, right? Now, out of these 46, remember that chromosomes exist in pairs, right? In humans, exist in pairs. 46, that is how many pairs? 23 pairs, right? 23 pairs. Pair means 2. 2, 2. Unlike when we were small. When we were younger, I want to go and buy battery, finger battery. You tell the man to give me one pair of, or let's say you want to buy 2, like 2 like this. Tell the man to give you 2 pair of battery. If the man is educated and the man, 2 pair is how many? 4, right? The man gives you 4. I say, no, 2 pair. 2 pair. Pair is actually 2. So when they say 23 pairs, meaning 46 in total. Now out of this 46, you inherited how many from your dad? You inherited 23 from your dad and 23 from your mom. 23 chromosomes from your dad and 23 chromosomes from your mom. To make up your own 46 chromosomes. Good. Through the process of meiosis. We'll take mitosis and meiosis, very interesting topic. Or it's a topic on its own. So then we'll talk more about this. But still then, these 46 chromosomes we have, these 46 chromosomes, 44 are called non-sex chromosomes. This you can be jotting on. 44 are called non-sex chromosomes. While 2 are called sex chromosomes. Just like I said, today is a foundation class. So I'll be touching, from next class to go straight to a particular topic we are doing. But today is a background class, foundation class. Now we have 44 non-sex chromosomes. If you don't call them non-sex chromosomes, you call them autosomes. Autosomes. Autosomes, yes. Then, how many sex chromosomes do we have? 2 sex chromosomes, right? If you don't call it sex chromosome, you call it allosomes. I'll be asking you these questions until you write your position. So tomorrow when you come, I'll ask you from the starting of where we started from. Until I finish biology with you. You'll be telling me from what I taught the first day to the final day. So please, if you don't read anything, revise my own notes. If not, we'll fight in this class. Okay, so I said out of the 46 chromosomes, how many are sex chromosomes? 2, right? If you don't call it sex chromosome, what do you call it? Allosomes. If you don't call it non-sex chromosome, you call it what? Autosomes. Now, we said we have 2 sex chromosomes, right? It can either be XX or XY. XX is the karyotype for which people? Is it male or female? Male or female? Male or female? XX. What is even with this example? You say male. XX is what? Female. Some person are saying, hey, I don't know if it's male or female. Alright, so this is female, right? Why this is what? Male. So XX is female, while XY is male. Females lack Y chromosome. These are our two sex chromosomes. 1, 2, 1, 2. Now, who determines the sex of the child? Is it the father or the mother? Father, right? Now, remember that you get half of your mother's chromosome and half of your dad's chromosome. If your mother donates her own X, which is the only thing she can donate, and the father donates X, the child becomes a what? A female, right? XX becomes a female. If the mother donates X, which is the only thing she has, and the father donates Y, becomes a what? Male. So it is the father that determines the sex of the child. But why is it that in some houses, in some families, if the first child is female, second female, third female, the man will not send away the wife? Ignorance. And in Nigerian film, when the king now send the first queen away, that she not marry and marry the next one, the first one will be a male. Why? Okay. So basically this is what is happening. So you know that out of the 46, 2 pairs are 2. That's 1 pair. It's a sex chromosome, right? Good. Now our genetic material, what is involved in the transmission of genetic information from parent to offspring, is found in our DNA. It's found in our DNA. And please here, pay attention very well and jot as much as you can. The DNA, you see questions from here. The DNA is what is involved in the transmission of genetic information from your parents to you. So you are saying, you say, I look like my mom. I got something from my mom. Now that genetic information is transmitted through the what? DNA. The DNA is involved in the transmission of genetic information. And the DNA stands for what? Deoxyribonucleic acid. Deoxyribonucleic acid. Now let me do a general recap of nucleic acid. Talking about nucleic acid is divided into 2 types. We have 2 types of nucleic acid. What and what? Let me see who's singing fast. We have 2 types of nucleic acid. What and what? DNA and what? And RNA. Thank you very much. DNA and RNA. Where DNA is what? Deoxyribonucleic acid, right? And RNA is what? Ribonucleic acid. Today is an overview. When we get to genetics as a topic, I'll give you full notes on this. But for today, just jot. So DNA is deoxyribonucleic acid, while RNA is ribonucleic acid. Now, for this house to stand, for this building to stand, what did they use? What did they lay on each other for this building to stand? Blocks, right? Blocks, right? And the blocks, they lay the blocks on each other, right? Good. Now, nucleic acid. Okay, the building block of protein is what? Amino acids, right? Amino acids are the building block of protein, is it not? Now, the building block of nucleic acid is what? Nucleotides. Thank you. Now, look at this. Okay. Of who told you that? The polypeptide is what? Never. Polypeptide, when you talk about peptide, you're even talking about proteins. Because it's peptide bonds that hold amino acids together in your protein molecule. So it has nothing to do with. So it's very wrong. Quote me. So the nucleic acid here, we said the building block is what? Nucleotide. Nucleotide is the building block of nucleic acid. And this nucleotide contains 3 things. If these 3 things are not there, then it is not a nucleotide. The 3 things that must be found in a nucleotide are: number 1, nitrogenous base. I'll not go too deep here. I'll leave it for genetic class. Number 2, another thing that can be found here is pentose. And the 3rd thing that can be found is phosphate group. If these three things are not there, it is not a nucleotide. So nucleotide must contain three things. I will say the three things are what? Nitrogenous base, pentose sugar, and what? And phosphate group. Today's class won't be long. We'll soon be done. So just pay attention. Nitrogenous base, pentose, and phosphate group. If you remove phosphate group, is it still a nucleotide? It's not, right? Because a nucleotide must contain these three things. Is it not? Now, if you keep the phosphate group aside, if you keep this phosphate group aside, you no longer have a nucleotide, but what you have is called a what? Nucleoside. What you have is a nucleoside because you've kept the phosphate group aside. So nucleoside contains only nitrogenous base and pentose. Only nitrogenous base and pentose. You've kept the phosphate group aside. Good. When we talk about genetics, we'll see the divisions of nitrogenous base into purine and pyrimidine. Now, pentose can either be ribose or deoxyribose, but let's leave it here first. Any question? Or do I go into that? It's a broad topic on its own. But let me just, since I've gotten to this extent, let me just talk about it a little. But if you forget everything we've said so far, don't forget that the building block of nucleic acid is what? Nucleotides, right? And nucleotides contains what, and what? Nitrogenous base, pentose sugar, and what? Phosphate group. If I keep the phosphate group aside, what do I have? Nucleoside, because I've kept the phosphate group aside. That's why some of you, when you want to use your pickup lines, you say you are the phosphate in my nucleotide. Without you, I'm just a nucleoside. Because without phosphate, it's not a nucleotide, but a nucleoside. You don't write them. Okay. Now, nitrogenous base can either be purine or pyrimidine. I saw them as I was going through the past question. I saw them there. Purine or pyrimidine. The nitrogenous bases can either be purine or pyrimidine. Examples of purines are adenine and guanine. Examples of pyrimidine are cytosine, uracil, and thymine. Yeah, uracil. Uracil, this is thymine. So, purine and pyrimidine. Purines are fused rings, two rings fused together. For example, if you have something like this is how the structure of purine looks like. You must not know how to draw it for now. This is your purine, fused ring. And this is your pyrimidine. Just one ring. Fused ring put together, purine, only one ring, pyrimidine. Purine, to remember purines, you can use the acronym pure as gold. Pure, purine, as gold. As gold, pure as gold. Why the pyrimidine? C-U-T, cut. Cut. I don't want to bother you too much with this now until we get to genetics. There's a lot to say here. So let's leave it there. Any questions so far? If you forget everything we said, don't forget that the building block of nucleic acid is what? Nucleotide. And nucleotide contains three things. What, and what? Nitrogenous base, pentose sugar, and what? And if you keep the phosphate group aside, what you have is a what? Nucleoside. and that nitrogenous base can be divided into what or what? Purines and what? Pyrimidines. Good. And don't also forget that there is a fluid found in the cytoplasm called what? Cytosol. Good. And what serves as a semi-permeable membrane around the cell? Cell membrane, right? Good. Alright, so the pentose sugar here can either be ribose or deoxyribose. Ribose or deoxyribose. The pentose sugar can either be ribose or deoxyribose. Which one is found in DNA? Which sugar is found in DNA? Deoxyribose, right? You call DNA deoxyribonucleic acid, right? Nucleic acid containing deoxyribose sugar. You call RNA ribonucleic acid, meaning nucleic acid containing what? Ribose sugar. Okay, this is already taking our time, so let me leave this. Let me leave that. So the nucleus contains the genetic material that is involved in transmitting information, genetic information, from parents to offspring. That's the nucleus. And we call it the control center. The control center of the cell. That's the nucleus. Do you get that? Good. Mitochondria. Mitochondria will refer to this as what? The powerhouse of the cell. The kitchen of the cell. The powerhouse of the cell. Why is it referred to as the powerhouse of the cell? Site for cellular respiration. And cellular respiration is not taking enough oxygen and giving out of carbon dioxide. It's not. Cellular respiration, you are breaking down complex substances to release what? To release energy. There is a cycle we call the TCA cycle, tricarboxylic acid cycle. It takes place in the mitochondria to release energy. There is another one we call beta oxidation of fatty acid. Beta oxidation of fatty acid takes place in the mitochondria to release energy also. The electron transport chain is found in the mitochondria. So the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell where cellular respiration takes place to release energy. So it is actually called the powerhouse of the cell because that is where the energy of the cell comes from. And in Nigeria, what is our currency? Naira, right? The energy currency of the cell is what? Is what? The energy currency of the cell is what? Huh? Say, be bold. If you want to fail boldly. Say, ATP. Why are you afraid? 8 adibyte. ATP. Adenosine triphosphate. Adenosine triphosphate. This is the energy currency of the cell. This is what the body recognizes. This is what the cell recognizes as the source of energy. There are other ones too, but this is what the body recognizes. Just like if dollar comes to Nigeria or anything, what we recognize is still money, but what we recognize as our own currency is Naira. So this is the energy currency of the cell, ATP. Are we good to go? Are we tired? I'm tired though. But today's class will not be long. So that's that for mitochondria, the powers of the cell. Now the ribosomes. So the ribosome is involved in what? The synthesis of what? Proteins. So where proteins are synthesized is in the ribosome. So proteins are synthesized in the ribosome. When we talk about protein, don't think about the one from your food, from your diet. Protein goes beyond that. All enzymes are what? Are proteins. All enzymes are proteins. So when we talk about protein, the protein can be an enzyme. The protein can be a hormone. So don't always limit your mentality of protein to what you get from your diet. It's far beyond that. Your body mass is composed of protein. So protein, there's what we call the central dogma of molecular biology. Protein is actually synthesized using information from the DNA. I will take this in details when we get to the topic. All these things you are saying here, we'll take it in details when we get to the topic. But for today, we're just touching. Just get an overview of how it looks like. Protein is synthesized using information on the DNA. I won't go into the details. From here to here is transcription, translation. But till then, so proteins are synthesized in the ribosome. In the ribosome, that is where proteins are synthesized. So that's one thing you should know here. Then the endoplasmic reticulum. So what's the function of the endoplasmic reticulum? It's involved in what? Transportation of what? Is that what I gave you? You said transport of what? Transport of synthesized proteins, right? It can be involved in transportation of materials. If proteins are synthesized in the ribosome, they are needed somewhere else. They will not be localized in the ribosome. So something needs to transport them to other parts of the body where they are needed. The endoplasmic reticulum is involved in the transport. Do you know that sometimes you can see some books where they say the endoplasmic reticulum is involved in protein synthesis? Is that true or false? It's true. Do you know why? We have two types of endoplasmic reticulum. What and what? Smooth and what? Smooth endoplasmic reticulum and rough endoplasmic reticulum. The smooth endoplasmic reticulum, why they call it smooth is when they view it under microscope, it is smooth. The rough, when they view it under the microscope, is rough because of the presence of ribosomes on it. So in the cell, there are some endoplasmic reticulum that have ribosomes. Ribosomes are very small ribosomes on it. So when they view under microscope, it's very rough. So they call it rough endoplasmic reticulum. Good. The smooth endoplasmic reticulum can be involved in biosynthesis and others too. So basically that. This man here, after he discovered this, he named it after himself. Golgi is actually the name of a person. So Golgi apparatus, or he called it Golgi body. Anyone you call it is correct. So the Golgi body is involved in what? Packaging and distribution of what? Proteins, even waste materials, to package them and distribute them. Packaging, and there's what we call protein sorting. I will not go into that. But for now, just know that the Golgi apparatus is involved in packaging and distribution of proteins or materials and the body. That's Golgi apparatus. The lysosome. There's an enzyme found in the lysosome called what? Say? Digestive enzyme, but there's a particular one I want you to mention. Found in the lysosome. There's a particular enzyme found there. You know, digestive enzymes, yes. Say it is correct. Say? No, now feel free. Say it is correct. No, trypsin. Trypsin, no. Trypsin can be found around the intestine. You said? No. The name is similar to lysosome there. I've given you hints now. No. Okay, lysozyme. Lysozyme. Some persons are saying in their mind, I forget fire. Lysozymes are hydrolytic enzymes. They can break down. So lysozymes are involved in breaking down waste materials, breaking down foreign substances. Do you know that anything outside you, coming inside you, is foreign? That your body considers anything coming inside as a foreign material. Microorganism coming inside, foreign, and your body will look for a way to take care of that. So lysosome contains digestive enzymes, degradative enzymes that will break down waste material, foreign microorganisms, and the rest. Good. Now the vacuole, we said, what is the function of the vacuole here? You said? Stores nutrients. What? Remove waste and what? Okay. Good. Maintain internal hydrostatic pressure. We have different types of vacuole. We have food vacuole, we have water vacuole. Like if you are drawing plant cell, you will draw something like this. And you draw one large central vacuole. The nucleus is pushed one side. For animals, we have a very small one. But for plants, we have large central vacuole that will make them to resist that hydrostatic pressure. So it can also, we have food vacuole that can store food. And water vacuole that contains water that will make them to resist pressure, hydrostatic pressure. So basically, these are the organelles found in the cell. But we said that organelles are specialized substances performing specific functions, right? Good. And I said the particular one that is involved in protein synthesis is what? Is what? Which one is involved in protein synthesis? Ribosomes, right? Ribosomes. So the powers of the cell is what? The powerhouse of the cell. Why is it called the powerhouse of the cell? Because something is taking place there. What is taking place there? What is taking place there? Cellular respiration. Do you get now? Cellular respiration. But we said that the building block of nucleic acid is what? Nucleotide. And nucleotide contains three things. What, and what? And nitrogenous base, right? And we say the nitrogenous base can either be what or what? Purine or pyrimidine. An example of purine is what? What? Your mind is not here. Adenine and what? Guanine, right? Good. And we said that the endoplasmic reticulum can either be what or what? Smooth or rough. What makes the smooth smooth? Does not contain ribosome, right? Why the rough is rough? Because it contains ribosomes, right? Good. And we said that out of all these organelles, which one? Your mind is back, right? Yes. Which one serves as a selectively permeable membrane? Selectively permeable membrane or semi-permeable membrane? Your mind must be here. Your mind must be here. Help your seatmates. Cell membrane, right? So where is the cell membrane that serves as? And we said that which one contains degradative enzymes, hydrolytic enzymes that helps in breaking lysosome, right? Good. If you forget everything we said so far, don't forget that if you keep the phosphate group of a nucleotide aside, what you have is a what? Nucleoside, right? Good. And don't forget that the sugar found in DNA is what? The sugar found in DNA is what? Deoxyribose, right? Why the one found in RNA is what? Ribose. Any question? Can we move on?